Welcome everybody. We're going to move on with radicals. We're on lesson 11.7, adding and subtracting radical expressions. You will be able to add and subtract radical expressions. This lesson is going to be a lot like combining like terms. So we're going to talk about things that are like radicals, just like terms. Okay, and those are square root expressions with the same radicand. That means the same thing inside the radical. So, like radicals are shown on the top. The square root of 5 and the square root of 5. They both have a 5 inside. So, 2 square root 5 and 4 square root 5, those are like, because they're both square root 5. Next, we have 6 square root x and negative 2 square root x. Those are like. So all I'm really looking at is what's underneath the radical, the radicand. Same thing here. 3 square root 4t plus, or 1 square root 4t, invisible 1. So these are like because they both have a square root 4t. Now, these are not like. So this has no radical, and this has a radical 15. This has a radical x, but this one has a 6 with it, so they're not alike. Same thing here. They're not alike. If we have like radicals or like terms, then we can add or subtract them. So, example, 2 square root 5 plus 4 square root 5 is 6 square root 5. Just like 2x plus 4x is 6x, the same thing. Would you please cross these out, these 4 out, cross them out on this and cross them out good, and we're going to be doing those on the next slide. So, let's do a couple examples. 9 square root 3 minus 4 square root 3 is 5 square root 3. That's it. That's all you have to do. 8 square root 3 minus 5 square root 3 is 3 square root 3. And one more here, we have 5 square root 7 minus 6 square root 7 would be negative 1 square root 7. Alright, here are the ones we cross out from the other side, so a little easier to work with. Alright, let's keep going. There's an invisible 1 right there, so you can write that in. So we say 1 square root m minus 7 square root m would be negative 6 square root m. Here I have 6 square root x plus 8 square root y. We can't do that, so we would say that that's already simplified. That's already simplified. 4 square root n plus another 4 square root n would give us what? 8 square root n. It just kind of flows. Now, only combine like terms, so the square root 2s is not like these, but these are alike. So what I'll do is, I'll say square root 2s, then I'm going to go back and combine these. So I know there's invisible 1 right here. So, negative 1 square root 5s plus 9 square root 5s gives me positive 8 square root 5s. And there's my answer. I know that your note sheet says day 2. We're combining this into one video, so we're going to keep going with adding and subtracting radicals. So we said that they had to be like, okay? Like radicals, like terms. These are not, but before you say that it's simplified, what I need you to do is see if you can pull any perfect squares out of these radicals. Remember, simplifying a radical. So, here are my perfect squares. Can any of these divide 45? And the answer is yes. 9 can divide 45. And can any of these divide 20? And the answer is yes. 4. So, I'm going to rewrite this. I rewrote 45 as 9 times 5. And I rewrote 20 as 4 times 5. Now, I'm going to give each one of these radicands their own radical. Okay, so I gave them their own radical, And now I'm going to simplify the square root of 9 and say 3. And I'm going to simplify the square root of 4 and say 2. I'm going to bring down my square root 5 and my minus sign and my other square root 5. Now I'll just solve the problem. 3 square root 5 minus 2 square root 5 is 1 square root 5. So after I simplified, I was able to find out that these are like terms. They are like radicals. They're both square root 5. Here's my answer. Let's do the same thing again. Which of these numbers can divide 54? And then which of these numbers can divide 24? Do that now. Hit pause and see if you can try and simplify. Okay, 9 can divide 54, 9 times 6, and 4 can divide 24, 4 times 6. So let's give them each their own radical. I did that. Now all I need to do is square root the 9 and square root the 4, so I'll do that. Square root of 9 is 3. I'll bring down my square root of 6. And the square root of 4 is 2. I'll bring down my other square root of 6. Now, like I said before, we have like radicals. We have 3 square root of 6 plus 2 square root of 6 equals 6 square root of 6. And now I've combined my like terms and simplified the expression. Okay, let's do another one. We have 75 and square root of 50. So let's look at our chart. Which number here can divide into 75? So 25 can, and 25 can also divide into here. So let's set this one up. Notice that I brought the 9 down and I brought the 2 down, and I took 75 and made it 25 times 3, and I took 50 and made that 25 multiplied to 2. So I'm going to give them each their own radical. Next, I'm going to take my 9 and I'll just bring it down, and now I'm going to do the square root of 25, which is 5, and when it comes out it's going to multiply to the 9. I'll do that later, and I'll bring down my square root of 3, and I'll bring down my plus sign. Then I'm going to take my 2 and bring it down, and the square root of 25 is 5. I'm going to multiply that to the 2 in a second, and I'll bring down my square root 2, which was left inside of this one. So let's put our red numbers together. So this is 45 square root 3 plus 10, 2 times 5, 10, square root 2. Now I'm going to look at my square roots. Are these like? No, they're not. They're not alike. So I'm done. This is my answer right here. I cannot put those together. I'm done. One more example. So 27, 4 square root 27 minus 1 square root 18. Let's simplify these and see if they're going to be like or unlike. Well, I did this, and 27 is 9 multiplied to 3, and 18 can be divided by 9, also 9 multiplied to 2. So I will continue my pattern. I'll give them each their own radical. All right. So now all I need to do is square root the 9. So I'll take my 4 and bring it down, and the square root of 9 is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. Then I'm going to bring down the square root of 3. So I'll bring that down and bring down my minus sign. And next I'm going to square root this 9, and that's 3. And I'll bring down my square root 2. Square root 2 here. So here's my answer. I cannot put them together because they are not like radicals. So here's my answer right here. Okay, here are your practice problems. Try each one of them and bring any questions you have to class next time we meet. Take care.